Welcome back to our Extra AI podcast series. And today I'm going to have a conversation, an interesting conversation on the aspect of customer operations and customer support and how we are moving from a customer support world into customer intelligence. And I have with me Italo Belandria, Head of Customer Americas at Ringover. Welcome on board, Italo.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today.
So a quick background about Italo. Italo leads customer success and support across the Americas, helping teams deliver stronger customer experiences through AI automation, performance tracking, streamlined workflows, and smarter communication. His work sits at the intersection of customer operations, team performance, AI-enabled service, and human-centered customer engagement. Today, the aspect of our conversation is we would like to explore how AI is changing the customer operations world and how companies can balance automation with empathy and how customer success teams can become more intelligent, proactive, and data driven. That's a brief background about Italo. So before we get into the conversation, Italo, maybe if you can give us a quick background or a quick personal or a professional backstory about how you ended up doing what you are doing now.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Before I start that, I love the word that you use, empathy, because in this AI world, we are kind of thinking, oh, we're going to replace humans. And I think humans are like on the need of empathy. And that's what we definitely want to keep with our teams. But yeah, I'm originally from Venezuela. Grew up there, went to college there, moved to Costa Rica for a work experience there. And then another work opportunity moved me and my wife to Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm at right now. I started early on this nonprofit as a customer success. At that time, they call it different. And then when I was moving on, I was like, well, what I want to do next? I came across to the official customer success title. I started as a customer success, moved as a team lead. I did some consulting with a consultant from a firm called the Table Group. They work a lot on organizational health. And then here at Ringover, I moved back to the head of customers for the Americas. And I love technology. I love AI. My dad was a software engineer. So he was coding on MS-DOS. And he was telling me, you should do this, you should do this. I'm like, it's just black and white. It sucks. And then it was like blue and yellow. Never learned how to code, but with AI, I have that old baby me wanting to learn to code kind of like took off again. I'm not a coder. I'm not a technical person, but in the past 24 months, I have got full into using AI for my day-to-day work. I tell people I'm not going to replace a developer, but at the same time, I can ship quick. I can ship basic tools for my internal teams to move the work faster. And one of the things I push my team is for the curiosity. You may don't know right now, but if you know you start practicing, you still putting your hands on, you're gonna be able to accomplish some stuff. And that's what I have seen in the past 24 months, at least for me. It's they didn't know anything about APIs, they didn't know anything about webhooks or nothing, and now I'm like building those on my own to build tools for our team.
Beautiful. I think that's an amazing journey coming from the South Americas to the North America and then settling down here and getting into the world of AI in the space of customer operations. You have no, in your family, you already had a stint of how software uh, evolves or how software evolves. So you always had that background. But now with AI, the concept and the aspects of how you can talk to a machine or talk to a system has opened up quite a bit, not only to the people coming from the software background, but for everybody. And how
Exactly.
and which and of course, if you see software programming or languages, it's only 40 to 50 years. Before
Mm-hmm.
that, people were always communicating. And that
Mm-hmm.
is where uh, with the tools of AI, again, we are getting back to that. So how well we can communicate with people,
Exactly.
end of the day, how we can make things work. So that is what it is.
And makes it easier for non-technical people to express their ideas.
Right.
Like on product, you will have a product idea, you will have to go to the technical person and try to explain that. And it's two different brains. Like the brain, the skill for the technical is a different skill for the social one. And being able to like, hey, let me show you what I want to do, and then you do it properly, because they're not perfect. They're not going to be sustainable long term. But being able to just show, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I see this vision going. And the technical person is like, awesome. You gave me a great idea. You gave me a great foundation, not to try to figure it out what we're going to do. Try to imagine what you're trying to tell me. It's like, we're now speaking a common language
Mhm.
where both teams can move faster.
Right. So when did you, before we get into the actual conversation, so when did you first realize that AI can meaningfully change this kind of customer operations, not just productivity? Is there some light bulb moment that happened to you, saying thinking that, hey, this tools or these AI tools, I think maybe post
Mhm.
GPT things have exponentially grown, right? I think
Yeah.
it did happen
So
sometime.
yeah, so for example, when ChatGPT came out, I think I registered within like the first 72 hours.
Hmm.
Like they sent me like, oh, you're on the zero point 0.1 adopters of ChatGPT. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But for me, it was like, let me explore, let me think. And then when I started to see like, oh, I can put this context of information and it will speed some view of the communication that I haven't seen yet. It will give me another point of view of the work I'm doing. It's going to give me even another point of view of the words I'm saying to a human. Of course, at that time, it was, all the dashes and all the stuff that people were like, oh, this is not good. But I was like, 2 months ago, this did not exist. Now it exists and saved me a ton of time on just doing my job better. Not for the system to do my job, but for me to do my job better. Now I don't have to go and explore. I can like say, hey, help me summarize these 10 pages into these specific questions that I have. Or just give me on these 10 pages documentation where I can find these quick answers. And then it will not only tell me that, but say, oh, by the way, this is a document that is outdated. You can search this other one. So one of the things I started applying for myself was to try to build my own assistant, if I call it that, personal assistant that, hey, we have this type of communication. This is how I communicate. Help me write my answers that I'm going to give you based on this type of communication that I want to have. Here in my position, I work with people that speak Spanish, that speak English. In Spanish, every country will say something different.
Right.
Mexico will say as a word in Spanish that it will be different than Venezuela than Costa Rica. So I will use it even just to like do stuff for myself. Like, hey, how can I say this that in Mexico will be understanding? Because living in Costa Rica, I
Hmm.
made so many mistakes speaking in Spanish that people were like, dude, you're being very rude. You're insulting us by saying that. I'm like, no, that just mean this in Venezuela. So being able to have that context, like literally for free, for
Hmm.
me was like everybody should be using it. Like everybody should be getting on it. Now, 2 years, almost like more than 3 years. Time has flied. To now, everything has changed. Like it moves so fast. One of the things I tell my team is like, I don't want you to do the boring job. I want you to be connecting to the human. Like we're talking about like, oh, how do we use, or we're gonna talk about how we use this to kind of like determine if a client is okay, if it's risk of churn or anything like that. But the thing is, you cannot replace that human connection, like talking to you. Hey, what issues are you having? Oh, I'm having this is happening, this is happening. Perfect. Let me work on that. Once I grab those issues, let me ship it to AI to find the solutions, to ping the right team, ping the right solution, give me the information. I'm going to analyze, I'm going to filter what needs to be done, and then I can connect to the person to give that result. Before, you as an agent, you will have to do every single thing, take 2 weeks to get to the dev, to the product team, to the API team, get all this information, then get it to you, analyze it. And after a week, okay, I can give you an answer. Here with this, you can get this answer within minutes. Of course, if your company has that information available, because if not, you're still waiting for humans, but
Right.
being able to just move faster And again, it's not about, at least for me, it's not about replacing the humans. It's like, I want to use your best skills. The
Mhm.
stuff that is boring, the stuff that is not your best skills, let's delegate that. The ones that you are good, let's move towards that.
That's a great way of putting it. I like the way you've explained it, Alo. I think it's in this way, it's not just the productivity part you're addressing, but it's also you're addressing how the overall customer operations can improve quite a
Mhm.
bit, quite drastically. So let's get into the subject of impact, right? Where do you see the biggest impact of AI in customer operations? Is it with automation or insights, or if you think coaching maybe junior
Mhm.
consultants or junior representatives, or personalization, or even retention of customers? So, which is where do you think AI is creating that first biggest impact?
I will say the first one is going to be the insights.
Mhm.
You have data, like most of the company, we record our conversations, we record our meetings, like on Ringover. We provide VoIP, so we have the option to record conversations. We have our Empower tool, which is the AI agent that listens to your conversations, your video meetings, analyze them. So having all that data is easy to tap, say, hey, I'm having this issue with this client. Search if we have that same issue with other clients. And the system just goes and search for that for you and bring you that information. Hey, I'm working on this upsell with this client, but we have a CSM talking to the client. We have an account manager talking to the client. We have support talking to the client. Give me the overall view of what's going on with this client right now. So I can say, oh, they have two tickets open. They have this conversation with the account manager. On top of that, the CSM is doing a training. He did a training 2 weeks ago, last week, and one coming up this week. That insight, it's valuable for the person managing those accounts because you don't have to now go through support. Tell me about this, or let me go into my ticketing system and try to see what's going on. And no, everything is in the palm of your hand. Now, there is the other side of that is that you need to have the right data.
Mhm.
Once, if you don't have the right data, if you have wrong data, then those insights are not going to work on anything. That's why I always think the human part is going to be really hard to be replaceable because you still need to see, okay, is this correct? Is this information up to speed? Is this information is it's good? Because for example, we have text message that the salesperson will send a text message from their personal number. That's not going to be logged in our CRM or our database system. So we still need to say, hey, Joe, are you still working on this? Hey, John, are you still doing this? In order to make sure that everything's right. That's why I love having humans doing what they're good at. It's like, is this really what we need to go on this conversation? So Insight is great. Coaching has been an amazing, amazing tool as well. Internally, we have our own coaching tool that we provide to companies that would say, hey, these are the type of things we wanna evaluate our team. These are the type of information they need to provide to the client. So when they don't, we get pinged, we can flag, say, hey, this is going on. We provide that coaching feedback directly to them. Easy to find, easy to apply, because as companies are growing, like you manage 20 people. It's impossible that you can evaluate the job of 20 people
Right.
as evaluating the job of three. But bringing these coaching tools into system is going to allow you to focus on the, oh, this is a score of 60. Let me see what happened. Okay, anything above 90, I don't need to see it. Then you
Mhm.
can focus on the stuff that really matters. So again, it gives you a big, big chance. And one of the things I was mentioning earlier about personalization of these tools to help us move faster, that's what I have been doing for the past year
Mhm.
is be seeing our work, seeing what pieces are being missed. Because hey, it would be nice to have this automation. It would
Mhm.
be nice to have this specific type of notification, and having tools that allow me to create them without again being a developer, without knowing all the back end information, but just being able to say, hey, this is the issue I have. This is what I'm looking forward to do. Let's build it on it. Now, sounds easy, but I have over 20 projects that I just put it on the trash because I didn't build a database. I didn't know about
Okay.
database. I
Mhm.
didn't do, hey, API security and all that. I got to a point I couldn't develop anymore because I have to fix so many things. And I was like, you know what? Let me start over. But I learned, hey, you need a database. Hey, you need this other structure. Hey, you need documentation internally on how things work. But that will have allowed me to build personalized tools for our team to move
Mhm.
faster. So it's like we don't have to like, hey, remember this. Like I already have a system that capture the information. I will remember our team when these things are coming up without us having to repeat ourselves multiple times. Yeah, it's at least for me has been a great past at least 12 months where I
Mhm.
have had the opportunity to start building stuff for me and my team.
Beautiful. I think you have raised some very important points when we talk about customer support or customer operations, right? I think obviously you need to get a lot of insights about any issue. And is that data the right data? Where is this data coming in from? And I think you also, I think we are going to go into that other aspects of data coming from phone, SMS, and all. But I think that's an important point that you've mentioned. I think in AI terms, sometimes I call it as the dark data because some data which is uh, visible only to some people. Once that person leaves, I think you don't even know what it is, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think it is hidden, but at the same time, that is where that particular human being's importance arises. So there is so much you can document. There is only so much you can realistically put in notes or other things, but there is some kind of data which is always tied up with the person. So
A
that is
hundred
where,
percent.
yeah, very
And
true.
and that's why I'm very bullish into like human be on the loop. I mean, I haven't built, a billion-dollar company, but I hear people like, oh, humans are gonna be displaced and nobody's gonna have a job and this is gonna be. But for me, it's like, yes, there are many jobs that are gonna disappear, as has happened through history.
Yeah,
Like through history, we have lost so many type of job, but a lot more has gone up and up. But for me, is hey, what you as a human can do that is unique to us as a humans, and that's where we're gonna 10x what you can do because I hate processes. I hate details. I hate all that like small work, but I have to do it because that's part of the job.
true.
What if something can come along and do it for me and I can focus on the stuff that matters? Hey, let me jump on a call with you. Let me strategize. Like we sell you a service, but let me help you on how this service that I'm selling you can help you even more because I'm sitting down with you. But if I'm managing 50 people, I'm managing 50 accounts, and I have to do all these details for each account, I only have 15 minutes for you. I don't have a full hour. I don't have full 2 hours. So that's where I see on the customer service part is we're able to be more human, not treat you as a ticket like, hey, this is the ticket. Here's the answer. Close the ticket. It's like, no, hey, here's the ticket. Here's the possible solution. Here's an article. Let me know if you need to jump in on a call. This is what we love to do at Ringover. Even though that we sell AI communication tools, we want to keep humanize the customer support. Yes, we have automation replies. We have an AI agent voice that will answer basic questions, but you can always connect to a human. And that's our end goal is to make sure that, yes, we provide you a service that have those automation, those AI, but you can always connect back to a human that will understand better where the issue is coming from, where the frustration. Most of the time, it's a matter of explanation. Like, hey, I have the knowledge of my product. You're having an issue, but you don't know specifically how to express that issue.
Mhm.
Connecting with me will flush that idea. And it's like, oh, the issue that you're having is actually this. It's something super simple, but just connecting with a human, it just makes it so much easier. But again, we don't have 24 hours for one agent to do it. So
Right.
that's why I want to make sure we can eliminate any small thing that a computer, that an AI can do for us to do the job that humans can only do.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So let me get into this aspect now, right? I think uh, with AI, you can help teams can help move faster from a reactive support to more of a proactive customer engagement, right? I think this is one thing which can now happen at a faster pace. So we are not in a reactive phase, but you can engage with customers and get this a bit more faster. What are these general mistakes you see companies are making when they introduce AI directly into customer operations too quickly? Where
Mhm.
are some of those mistakes that you, with your experience, you are able to find out?
One, you just said it too quickly. They
Hmm.
sometimes want to push, hey, this came out yesterday, let's do it now, without a plan. That's one. Second, is training. Like we hear AI everywhere. Oh, AI. And I have the chance to consult small companies to implement AI. And I say, okay, so what you're looking for? Oh, I want to have AI.
Mhm.
Okay, tell me more. Like, where do you see the need for the AI? No, in my business. It's like, okay, but like, there is so much in your business. There's accounting, there is HR, there is sales, there is customer. Like, there is so much stuff that you can do with AI, but you need to have. And sometimes people would just by hear AI, they say, oh, that's a miracle. So for companies, like, let's make a plan on what implementations we're going to have. Oh, we're gonna do it for example, for our sales team. Okay, perfect. What do we need to do? Oh, we need to start having a insights agent that can give us insight. Okay, perfect. In that case, how are we doing our calls? Oh, everybody's using their own cell phones. Well, that's the first change. You don't may not have to adopt AI by putting the agent inside. You may need to move to a VoIP system like Ringover to start recording your calls, because right now everybody's on their own personal cell phone. That data is lost.
First.
So even to implement AI, you still have to do some manual work that is not AI oriented to get to that AI point that you want to be. So that's where I try to push companies, say, hey, don't just go with what's in the media that, oh, AI is doing all these amazing things. Yes, it's doing that, but there is a behind the scenes work that you have to do as a company to adopt that. It's not just buy a bunch of licenses for Claude and just a bunch of licenses for ChatGPT. It's like, okay, how do I consume this? Like, you bought ingredients, but you don't have a recipe book. You have never you have never cooked anything in your life, and you're buying all this food. They're just gonna go to waste. So first, you have to say, hey, let's adopt a little bit. Let's start with the sales team. Let's start with the support team. Let's adopt a tool at a time to make sure that we are adapting as much as we can. So that's the first thing, is they go too fast and they don't have a plan of implementation of what they're trying to do. So those have been the two things that I have seen it. Even with our AI product, companies are jumping in. I want to buy it. It's like, great, that's money. But then when we go into, okay, let me help you implement it, it's like, okay, but you got to go back into your own systems, into your own process to change this in order for this to get the real value.
So basically, it starts with first understand your process. I think in one of my earlier podcast conversations as well, I think this guest was explaining that in service businesses as well, it happens that many times there are many number of steps involved in a particular process, and now you want to involve or invoke or put AI. First you need to understand your complete process flow, where the process is breaking, or in some scenarios you're not even, there might be quite a few manual tasks which is not even documented in the system, or not even captured in the system. So first you have to make sure that that is addressed in the right way. If
Exactly.
not, directly putting AI will not even improve these operations. I think this is where I would like to take a segue to get into this other aspect of you mentioning that, hey, sometimes these in these customer operations, you have people getting messages in the form of SMSs, or maybe in the form of messages or phone calls, maybe on a personal phone, or maybe in some scenarios it can be like a chat, a different chat, or an email, CRM systems. So uh, this fragmentation is a problem, right, in the customer operations. And why do you many customers or many companies still have customer conversations across the spectrum, right? Like, how
Yep.
do you handle this? What uh, any thoughts about that?
Yeah. So this is the part that I don't want to sound like, oh, I'm selling Ringover, but this is where we go on, is because we have the voice communication, we have the SMS communication. If you have video calls, then we have the agent that will join your meetings on an easy way to help you with that. Even with our app, like, we have multiple clients that say, hey, we have been using our personal numbers as their business numbers. We don't want to take that from our employees. We want to keep them there, but clients are going to still be sending calls and stuff like that to their phones. Is there a way that you can do it? So yeah, just forward that call to Ringover, and then from there we take it. Like, we will record the call, analyze the call, tell you what next steps are, give you that information, put it on your CRM or your ATS without that person having to do anything else. That's the part is, as you mentioned, there are processes that they still need a human interaction. They still a human click. There are some processes that don't need a human click. That actually, the less automated that you have, the worse it's going to be. So, for example, I'm a person that is very get distracted so easy. So, for example, for this call, I close my email, I close Slack, I close everything because if no notification will pop up, I will look to the corner and then I will lose my thought. So when I'm on the call, I cannot be writing notes. I cannot be okay. Let me think about this. I have to be fully into the conversation. So when I finish a 20, 30, 45 minutes call, I already forgot what we spoke at minute 10. Like I remember the past 10 minutes. I can probably take notes of that past 10 minutes. So here's where that communication, like gathering everything in one place, creating the correct data, it's very important. Because as we mentioned at the beginning, if you have the wrong data, there is nothing you can do on coaching, on insight, or anything because it's wrong. So collecting that data from the beginning is going to be the key of success. Like if you're doing a discovery call, like you're asking questions, they're going to give you their answers. After an hour, instead of like, oh, did they have 20 or 25 people? Did they have 50 countries or only 30 countries? Like you don't have to think about those details because again, the agent on the back end is doing that for you. And you can actually now having an real active listening is not your brain working on the back end trying to take notes. You can have an active listening what actually the person is like. Oh, you gave me an idea. I've talked to somebody else before that had the same issue, told me they did this. Let me share that with you. So I think that's where that first step on the omni-channel communications come is putting everything into the same spectrum to make sure that we have that proper data. Now, for example, we have WhatsApp. Well, I've been using WhatsApp since I always tell people I pay $1 for WhatsApp. Everybody's getting for free. I pay $1 for WhatsApp because Venezuela that was the cheapest way to communicate. But like having WhatsApp conversations, like for Latin America, for example, like people don't almost send SMS; they just send WhatsApp. So being able to bring WhatsApp into that communication tool and send that to your CRM to make sure that the messaging get logged in the proper contact. That way the agent can go and review the information. The human can go and say, hey, when was the last time we connected to this person? Is right here. So I'm very passionate about that data because as I mentioned, I built a bunch of stuff. I did not have any data on the back end to support it. I saw how those small apps, I mean, for my kids and stuff like that, crash. And I started, okay, why they're crashing? I say, oh, because you don't have a database. You don't have a data. You don't have these key components that they're going to connect between different databases to give you this information. And I was like, okay, let me learn a little bit about that.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think I like the aspect of when you're explaining that getting all this information from these disparate sources, various different discrete sources onto one connected platform, or helping get all this information, the data on one connected platform, definitely improve the customer experience and the team performance. And then you can use AI with features like call summaries or transcripts or sentiment analysis in converting this long-facing customer, long summaries or long calls with the customer-facing teams, right? Here, I would like to dig deep a little more into how AI features can help in this context. Like, okay, now that you collected everything, you got it in one particular platform, but now you have these call summaries or these transaction summaries or these long sentiment analysis. How does AI help this in this process for a customer operations team or
yeah. So for example, I manage the customer success team and we are onboarding an account. And our process, depending on the size of the account, it could be 4 meetings, could be 10, depending on the size. And then I can go to our AI system. We have something called Ask Empower. And I can say, hey, give me this company, give me where they are in the onboarding process, who's doing the onboarding, when is the next meeting, what pain points they have had in the past 5, 10, or the meetings they have had. Without me, imagine a CSM having 10 minutes with that one company
Mhm.
instead of me going and sit down with the CSM. Hey, give me an hour of your time. You're onboarding 10 companies. You have 5 meetings a day. I need 30 minutes to talk about one meeting.
Mhm.
That's going to be super hard. But if I go to the agent, I can say, okay, let me see the work of the CSM. Let me go see how this onboarding is going. And the system is going to tell me, hey, on this specific training, they mentioned that their porting of numbers, they want it for June 20, but they happen to be on vacation. So they are asking if they can do it before. But the CSN mentioned that they have this issue. So this may be a bottleneck or a roadblock on the onboarding. Without me having to ask the CSM, I already can pinpoint what's going on because again, we have those tools already put in place. And then when I go to my one-on-one with the CSM, say, hey, I review your trainings. Here are a few pain points that I found. How is this going? Oh, we already took care. Number same is done with that. Awesome. Check. Hey, how this other thing is going? Oh, this is still pending. Oh, I did not put that on my notes. I completely forgot about it. Thank you for bringing it up. Like that will save us so much time. One. Second, it's going to help us have the right information and to keep what matters on top. Because sometimes the details, the granular stuff that is happening day to day will consume your day. And the things that matters that, hey, we talked about this on one meeting 2 weeks ago, then we were going to forget about that. So that's why these type of things is going to help us to have better insight of not only what's going on with the clients, but internally. Right now, like we are using a internal tool to capture processes. So like, hey, this is a new change. We're going to change on the process. This is what we're going to do. I literally go to the meeting notes on our Empower tool. I told my agent, hey, based on this conversation, I need you to build this process in this place. That's it. And then he asked me question. Hey, do you mean this for just US or for global? Oh no, this is only for the US. Okay, is this for the customer support or for success or for all the entire customer department? No, for the entire. Just by having those questions and by in 10 minutes, I have my process ready of a meeting that just happened without me having to do the manual work of typing, coming out with the logic. If I need to put this as a title and then bold here, cursive there. No, the system does everything. So having those information or those tools, it definitely helped me on that customer facing teams because again, the time they save by these tools doing the admin work, these tools just doing the day-to-day tasks and they focusing, okay, this is the information I need for them. Hey, we're gonna meet with this client every week. Let me go back to my past notes. No, I just go today and say, hey, remind me what are the points that I have pending for this company that we talked about last week. Oh, you mentioned that you're gonna get this, this, and this. Okay, let me check on that. And then we have an agent that can go to Slack that can do this. And they say, hey, remind me where the status of this ticket is. It goes to Jira, it goes to whatever ticketing system. Find that information without you again having to go to the browser, look at the ticket. Let me read the ticket. Let me read the past week of comments from the developer, from the support team. The system will do it for me. That's why I'm very happy on the time that I'm alive because a lot of the stuff I don't like to do, AI can do it for me. And the stuff I love to do, I get to do it more.
Right, right. I think thanks for also providing an example and explaining the process and how you have been handling in some of your customer conversations and how this helps you when you have a call log or an insight or a summary ahead of time and then analyze the sentiment that is going on in this particular conversation. And then, of course, you have a summary of all these things, and then you can quickly address the needs of the customer and then get back and provide the solutions at the earliest.
Yeah, and for example, we have one of our product owners, Admadeep. He managed all the Empower side, and every time a CSM does a training for Empower, he sends me a note. Oh, by the way, this CSM said this, this, and this in the training, which is good, but it can be better if they do this, this, and this. Like even I have not reviewed that training. He already have automations within Empower that whenever somebody does a training, he send him an email to let know, hey, this person did a training on Empower, and then he gets a summary based on his specific request regarding, hey, I need to make sure they do this evaluation, and he even as soon as the training finished, 5 minutes later, if something needs to be addressed, he texts me directly, say, hey, this is the notes of this training that you may want to check with the CSM. I'm like, dude, like that was like 10 minutes ago. But that's the pace that that AI can help you do the job. Because again, you cannot review every single person's job by detail.
True.
It's impossible. Like you cannot, unless you're doing a one-on-one, unless you're just managing one person. At that point, it's like, why you have a manager. But it's like, okay, let me focus on the stuff that really, really matters in order to improve the retention, in order to improve the quality of the service, in order to help the product. Like we are shipping new features every week. So I need to make sure that the team, hey, remember to read this documentation. Remember that this got updated. So I love it.
Great, great. I think we went through the transition of how customer operations are getting into customer intelligence. We went through some of the common mistakes. We also explained these aspects of how these are going. And of course, you briefly gave me a background about where Ringover helps customers. But let's get a bit more deeper into Ringover. Can you give a quick high-level overview about Ringover and how it helps solve customer problems and how it is designed to solve these customer problems? Maybe if you can give a 50,000-foot level, and then we can.
Yeah. So empower Ringover. Our mission is to empower businesses to get the most out of their conversations. So you're talking, everything in this world is conversations. You're selling, you're helping, you're doing everything through conversations. So how we do this is we do it through phone system, which is our product Ringover. Phone system, SMS, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, any tool of communications, you can bring it into Ringover. We have our AI tool, Empower, that will allow you to analyze this data. Now, analyze is very broad. And this is where Empower excels at the same time, because you can customize what type of analysis you want to have. So let me put you an example of a sell process. So you're selling a product, you have you're selling something, you may have a first call is a discovery call. So you may want a specific summary based on a discovery option. So you may ask the AI, hey, I want to know how many seats. I want to know how many people they have in the company, what's their budget, what's their issue, what's the pain point. Those are the things that you want to know based on a discovery call. So most of these tools are going to give you, hey, here's the summary of the call. This is what we talked. In Empower, you can say, not only tell me what we talked, I want to know this specific information of this call. Now, the next call will be the demo, and you can have a different summary for the demo. This way, when you have the demo call, you will have an option to say, hey, I want to know a specific information about this call that is different from the discovery call. If you have a support team, at the same time, you can have different type of summaries that will allow you this. Within ASM Empower, you're selling, you have something called Pitch Room. Pitch Room is a section directly on Empower where you can start your pitch sales with an AI agent. And you can customize the persona you're going to have. Oh, this is CEO of a healthcare company, X amount of seats. This is the level of difficulty. Like I want a beginner, I want a medium, high, or the highest one, 4 different levels. It will allow you to train your team, to teach your team, to practice your team on those sales pitch. At the same time, within Empower and within Ringover, you will have this information all sent to your CRM. So you don't have to manually sync, you don't have to copy paste, you don't have to do anything like that. As soon as that call hangs up, the data gets analyzed and the information of your summary and next steps of the calls are going to be sent to your CRM or your ATS. So you're selling on Salesforce, you hang up the call, you refresh your screen, 10, 30 seconds later, you're going to have all the data there. And you're going to see, okay, this was the summary of the call. Here are the next steps. I need to send a summary. I need to send an email. I need to find this information. And even then, you can use Ask Empower to say, hey, write me a summary for this specific call. And he's going to grab the context of the call. He's going to grab the transcription of the call and put it into the summary. You don't have to copy. Let me download the recording, put it into ChatGPT, write me an email. No, everything is within the same place. So it is very nice, very easy to work with because you don't have to go anywhere else. And for managers, supervisors, it's great because they have access to that data as well. You don't have to go and try to like, hey, tell me how this call went with this prospect. No, you just go to Empower, you just go to Ringover, you see that information and you're good to go. You don't have to to get on top of everybody to get details on how the system is working.
And
Same for
sorry to interrupt. And so here, Empower is integrated with all these external systems, or does it run as a service, or does it run as an API, or
no, it runs with Ringover. So it's connected directly with Ringover. And if you're having a video call, it will connect to your video call. If you have Teams, Zoom, Google Meets, it will connect with your video call. You can even do it if you have a meeting in person. You can just put on your computer, record this meeting. It will capture each of the people that are in the room. That way you can analyze that. So, and all that is run automatically. I have a case, for example, for a client specifically. They asked me, hey, we are hiring for this specific position. They had a code for that position. And they say, let's say the code is J6200.
Right.
And we went to the AI and said, okay, perfect. Tell the AI anytime that you get an interview for the position J6200, send an email to this manager. And within a week, that manager had like 15 emails that she, instead of having to look at the 100 different interviews that we're doing for all the position, she wanted to narrow only the position for this specific, all the interviews for this specific position. So the system by default was sending a notification, hey, here's an interview. She look at the summary, look at the next steps. Let me listen to the conversation. Let me watch the video, even if I want to watch the video, let me see. And then by just doing that, they were able to get people almost 20% faster into new jobs just by having all these automations.
So here Ringover is working as a tool in the background, which is helping monitor and observe all this, and then providing you the much needed details.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And you can keep it simple as, hey, I want to use my computer to make a call, an interview. I'm traveling. I'm going to use my phone to make a call. Like, you can use it anywhere. And it's just a matter of making the call, hanging up, and then the system will manage the data for you.
And as long as you have connected to Ringover, or
exactly,
the service is connected somewhere, so that it's yeah. And generally the data is only, of course, I believe you follow all these policies about the data is stored only for the purpose of the conversation, and then it's always encrypted so that it's
exactly. And your company will have the data. If you want to delete it, you can delete it. It's not shared. You have your own environment. You have all the security. We have ISO 27001. We are getting into new security systems as well. It is one thing that I always mention this, working with American customers. Because here in the US, you have, two-party consent. If in California, you got to tell that you're recording Ringover will adapt to what you need. Say, hey, I'm in a one-party consent, so I don't want to record from the beginning, but if I get consent, I want to record the call. Perfect, we can do that. Oh, no, but I want to make a message saying that this call is being recorded. You can do that. If somebody calls me, I want to leave the message before they even contacted me that the call is being recorded. We can do that. I don't want to say anything because I'm in a one-party consent. I just want to record. We can, the flexibility, and this is one of the things that stands out on Ringover, is that flexibility and customization that you can do based on your needs. So this way you can say, hey, I have a team that is calling out California. I want to customize their permissions and settings specifically to fit California. But I have other ones calling Georgia, and that's a one-party consent. And then I want to have a different set of permissions for those group of people. So that's the beauty if you can customize as much as you need to.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think that takes me to the, I know we are almost getting to the end of the conversation, but that takes me the segue to I term this as the XTrawAI question, or the $1 million or the $1 billion question, which is where, how does Ringover, I know you specifically mentioned a few things, but is there something else that you would like to mention, how Ringover differentiates itself from the competition in this AI-enabled customer communication? And I know this customer communication, customer operations is a very crowded space. There's a lot of competition out there. Is there something that you want to mention, which is where Ringover is uniquely different, or it doesn't need to be, or Ringover does it in a different way, or does it in a better way?
Yeah, no, and as you mentioned, it's the $1 million question. There are big names in this
Yes, yes.
side. I mean, you're in California, so the big names are over there. Ringover is a European company that has started taking into US market.
Mhm.
I get to onboard companies that are leaving those big companies into ours, and at least for me, it feels like a proud moment of like we're making it, we're doing it. And I
Right.
feel one of the things, there are a few things that I want to stand out. One, the human aspect. We're selling AI, we're selling communication, but as I mentioned at the beginning, we're keeping it very human. From our sales team doing the prospection to connecting to the client, from our support team answering calls on the line, not just an email, just a ticket, but actually connecting with the CSM that not just sending a video. It's like, hey, watch these videos and you will learn. It's like, no, let me meet with you. Let me see your needs. Let me customize the onboarding based on your specific needs. I think that's one of the sides that I think it differentiate is that we are not putting you as a, oh, one more number, we close. Okay, go watch these videos. We have videos, we had an academy, you can train your team too, but we want to walk with you on this process. So that's on the first thing. On the product side, because you can have an amazing
Right.
team, but then the product sucks, then nothing works. On the product side, we are making, and our goal is to make an one-stop shop, meaning, hey, all your communication can go through Ringover. You can send it to anywhere else. Like we have a customer, I'm not going to mention the competitor, but he said, hey, basically, we're going against the biggest one in the world or you guys. And we want to stay with you guys. And actually, we're going to stay with you guys because you guys have gave us all this stuff and you guys are doing all this extra stuff that these big guys are not doing. And for us, I mean, for us, it's a good company, over 100 seats. It could be a big company, but they say, hey, what you guys have provided us, they haven't provided us. Plus, we don't feel the service is as like intentional as it is here. So the product that we're doing, the team that is behind the product is shipping and creating as fast as we can, safety and reliable because you can ship fast, but it can break at the next day. So we want to make sure that everything we ship, everything new tool, every new feature put in place is correct. And we are getting most of this feature from feedback from the clients.
Okay.
And this is part of our one of our values is a vanguard, kind of like the peer point is we definitely take the feedback from the client. They're the ones using the product. They are the ones doing the use cases. They are the one doing the step by step. We want to listen to their feedback and say, oh, that makes total sense. We should have that. Let's build it. And then the teams takes that into consideration. It's not like, oh yeah, send it to our product board and send it to our feedback, and in 3 years we'll do it. Sometimes I get surprised yesterday. Say, hey, this feature would be nice if we would do this. I
Mhm.
said that, all good. When I wake up this morning, I got a ticket done. It got deployed. I was like, this is great. But that's the benefit on building where we at right now. That it gives us that speed, that flexibility that maybe big companies don't have.
Right. Right. Safety and reliability and
Mhm.
flexibility is very, very important. So I know we're coming to the end of the conversation. I think a couple more questions here. I think, what would you think as a key takeaways, or three, if you have a two or three key takeaways for the business leaders in this world of customer operations where AI is taking over, or when you are building stronger customer relationships, what would that be from your standpoint?
Well, I would say first one is going to be lead with example. Like, don't ask your team, hey, use AI. Like, okay, how you as a leader are using it, how you as a leader are putting it in practice. Like, and that's what I try to do with my team is like, hey, I show them, hey, let me show you the workflow I'm doing to because I still, even though that I may have the title head of customer, I'm still meeting with customers. I'm still getting into meetings. I'm still resolving tickets. I'm still taking tickets for myself because I want to keep my hands on it. And I show them, hey, look at this ticket. It has a thread. It went to level 1, level 2, XYZ. Let me show you what I'm doing to get a fast resolution for this. So as a leaders on these AI times, we have to lead with the example. That's my first takeaway. And then on building a stronger customer relationships is to understand how you storage your data. Having it on your CRM, it's a great tool. I'm surprised a lot. Still companies making multi-million dollars and they still spreadsheets and they're still like paginate. Oh yeah, I have a file here and a file there. Like you need to consolidate that data in order to have a more reliable data. And that's are going to be my two things that takeaways. Like make sure you take care of your data, make sure they're cleaning up is up to date, and lead with the example for your team. Those are the main two things takeaways. I will say these are the things I'm trying to do for my team.
True, true. Very well said. Before I let you go, I think one last question. I would say, I know this with AI tools and agents, a lot of things are happening. What do you see the future of AI in this customer success and customer support? I know this is a very loaded question. A lot of things are changing at a very fast pace, but I know in the next 2, 3 years, what do you
Yeah.
see?
Yeah, I was about to say that I could probably answer, and then it's probably going to be wrong in 6 months.
Yeah,
But
the thought process, I think that's
no, yeah. But for example, I do see, um, I want to say the user's experience being better because they're going to be able to get faster answers. We are applying systems that, hey, if you had an answer, we're going to have an AI agent to answer your question, your ticket quick. That way you don't have to wait 30 minutes until the next agent is available to answer. Hey, how can I do this? It could have been an easy search. And this is the part as a company, we have to adapt to the customer. Yes, our answers are in the website. Yes, our answers are on the support page, but not all the people are searching the support page. They'd rather get somebody's answer. So being able to adapt those quick answers to dispatch those clients easier will offload your team to take care of the things that really matters, like things that are, hey, actually need, let me connect with you directly, let me see your configuration in your browser, let me see your configuration in your computer. As we are using more tools, and this is probably off topic, but it hit us in support a lot. As we're using more tools, the hardware that people are using are getting behind, and we are seeing these companies, oh, we get 32 gigabytes RAM. Yes, but you have 40 tabs open in Google Chrome. You have 10 different software in the computer. It's a stock. So the client's like, why this is not working? Say, okay, let me jump in with you. Be basically your mini IT person in your company. It's like, oh, your RAM is running at 98%. That's why nothing is moving. So those are the type of things that, even though that we are not the IT person for our clients, we still go that extra mile to let me see what's going on. Let me see what's going on with your internet. We have global partners, so we say, hey, let me see what is your connection with the local provider. So this way we can ship faster with the AI. Those basic answer. Hey, how can I do this? Hey, here's the article. Here's the step by step, and our human team can actually take care of the stuff that may be that easy for AI to do.
Right. So a lot of innovations are going to happen in that space. I completely echo your thoughts. I know everyone is guilty of that. I think we all have hundreds of tabs open when we are working on a few of these things.
Yep.
Well, great having you on our show. I think I've learned a lot in the space of customer operations and customer intelligence. Thanks for your time.
No, thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you, Italo, for joining us on XTrawAI and for sharing such wonderful insights on how AI is reshaping customer operations, customer success, and the way organizations build stronger relationships with their customers. It was great to hear your perspective on how AI, automation, omnichannel communication, performance visibility, and the human touch can come together to help teams become more proactive, more efficient, and more customer-centric. And to our audience, thank you for joining us and for helping us successfully kick off season 19 of XTrawAI. We are excited to begin this new season with such an important conversation on the future of AI in customer operations and business communication. Stay tuned for more interesting conversations with leaders, innovators, and practitioners who are applying AI in real-world business scenarios across industries. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share the podcast with your friends, colleagues, and professional network so we can continue bringing these raw AI conversations to a broader audience.
This is Raghu Banda. And until next time, let's keep extracting the raw AI conversations. Stay tuned, stay curious, and keep exploring what's next in AI. Happy predicting the future with XTrawAI.